We've got a two-way tie at the top for the best team in Major League Baseball. In the American League, it's the New York Yankees with 43 wins. In the National League, it's the Philadelphia Phillies, also with 43 victories. Both teams at 43 and 19. How we have reached that point, that's what we'll recap here over these next two segments, live on this Wednesday morning on the Early Line. We start in the Bronx, where the Yanks are the hottest team in MLB, the longest active win streak entering this week. And the Yankees add on 5 in a row entering yesterday, make that 6 straight. Just overall where they are in this season, in 4 consecutive wins this year over the Minnesota Twins. The Yankees have had the Twins numbers the past few MLB campaigns. 5-1, the victory for the Pinstripes yesterday. They easily win as a minus 178 home money line favorite. Total of 7.5 stays under. What more could you want out of New York at this point? 2-run double by Aaron Judge, 2 more RBIs. 2-run home run out of Giancarlo Stanton and Luis Gil, 8-1 this year, now with a 1.82 ERA after 6 innings of one-hit baseball and more scoreless work.
Yeah, watch out 27 Yankees right now, because this New York Yankees team certainly headed for over 100 wins as it appears. And what we're going to get out of them heading into the All-Star break and then also at the trade deadline, they're going to improve this baseball team. And we say so many times, like, well, who are you going to get at the deadline? Sometimes just getting back a player that wasn't there with the start of the season is the best trade you can make. And if you're talking about Garrett Cole, if he comes back and is in form, my goodness, man, the Yanks far and away the best team for me in the American League. And you take a look at that lineup, right. Volpe, Soto, Judge, Verdugo, Stanton, Rizzo, Torres, Trevino, and now DJ LeMahieu coming back to the equation, who's been a very good player for them, who usually is used to leading off. Now he's back in that 9-hole to sort of flip over the lineup. There's not a lot of, guys you can say, let me take a deep breath in this lineup and say, finally, I get a player that I can face. The pressure is on all throughout that lineup. It's fun to watch in every single inning. There's a chance for a guy to go yard. And when you play in the Bronx, specifically in Yankee Stadium, you can hit home runs. You got guys to drive the baseball. Did you see that home run yesterday from Giancarlo Stanton? He almost hit that thing over to New Jersey. It was such a rocket late, which also was big. Got me a base hit, got me a home run, got me an RBI. Thank you, Stanton, yesterday. Another great performance out of the Yanks, but it wasn't a surprise. We told you that yesterday.
Almost hit that ball to New Jersey. In Bridgewater, that's where Garrett Cole was making his first rehab start with the Double-A Somerset Yankees. 5 strikeouts for Cole and about 3 1/3 innings of work. Dominant in his first rehab start back in Double-A, hitting 97 on the gun. When you add the reigning American League Cy Young Award winner back to this rotation, things are good. But it might be a battle for who is the ace for the Pinstripe, because Luis Gil is on an absolute heater. He has won his last 7 starts, won all 6 of his starts that he made in the month of May, now winning his first in the month of June. 8-1. Donnie, RightSide, 8-1 for Gil this year with a 1.82 ERA. Yesterday, 6 innings against Minnesota, only allowing a single hit, not allowing a single earned run, and striking out 6. Luis Gil has been a revelation for New York this season.
You take a look at the pitching staffs from the two teams yesterday. Minnesota's a pretty good ball club here, still sitting at 33-27. But Ober, a 4.94 ERA after pitching that game. Sands, 4.62 coming out of the bullpen. Thielbar, 5.65. Flip it over to the Yankees here. Gil, 1.82. Conley, 1.93. Hamilton, 2.84. Weaver, 2.70. Not only are you getting an elite lineup right now, you're facing pitcher after pitcher after pitcher that is absolutely dominating. Now, sooner than later, some of the law of averages will creep in and some of these relievers will get hit around. And also, let's remind the fact, we're just starting to get into the summer season in the Bronx, which means that weather, the temperatures, it's all going to go up. And that's a small ballpark and easy to hit home runs, which factors into how good that Yankee staff has been. It's not as if we're playing out in San Francisco or out there, at T-Mobile out in Seattle. This is a true hitter's ballpark, and the Yankees pitchers are filthy right now.
We've got 3 teams in Major League Baseball with 40 wins now. New York and Philadelphia, both with 43. Welcome to the 40-win club, the Cleveland Guardians, and they earned 40 in a big way yesterday. The Royals had an early 5-0 lead after back-to-back innings of a 2-run home run from Bobby Witt Jr. Hit a 2-run shot in the 3rd, 2-run shot in the 4th. KC was up 5-0 on the road in Cleveland. Then the Guardians respond, including a 5-run 7th inning as the Guardians come all the way back They were a pregame minus 126 money line favorite. Who knows what large, lofty plus money price you could have got the Guardians at during this game, as Cleveland now at 40 wins, 8-5 the victory over Kansas City yesterday.
Weren't so surprised. Tristan McKenzie's always had those high xFIP minus numbers. 5 1/3 innings pitched, 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 home runs given up. Not good enough. But the one that was a surprise wasn't that. It was Seth Lugo, who came into this game absolutely lights out. 6 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, 5 Ks, and 2 hits. Actually, that elevates him to a 2.13 ERA, which shows you how crazy the start of the season has begun. But also talking about yesterday, hey, nobody's paying attention to the Guardians. 39-20 on the season. Now into the 40-win market here. The Guardians are 40-20 on the season. That's really good.
Really, really good. Cleveland now 5-game advantage in the American League Central over these Royals. And it's not like, hey, Cleveland's 40 wins and everybody else is below 500. 4 of the 5 teams in the American League Central have a winning record above 500. And then the worst team in baseball is there, the White Sox, who have now dropped 12 in a row, as we'll talk about in just a little bit. But the Baltimore Orioles, also darn good. A 10-1 victory yesterday on the road for a second straight day up in Toronto. Baltimore was a minus 178 road money line favorite with Corbin Burns on the bump, and he was great. But on a Dinger Tuesday, welcome to the show, Ryan Mountcastle. 2 home runs yesterday, 5 RBIs. Huge win for Baltimore as the O's go into Toronto and take 2 straight against their divisional foes.
Yeah, look at the table setters there. Henderson, Rutschman, and Mountcastle. 3 runs, 2 runs, and 2 runs. So if you're stacking the deck for a guy swinging a hot bat like Mountcastle, and it looks only 2 hits in that game, but 5 RBI, that's maximizing everything. And also, Mountcastle hitting 286, Rutschman 305, Henderson at 268. An impressive lineup all the way through. And the Toronto Blue Jays just getting caught up in a really tough division, underperforming and underwhelming, and under 4 games under 500.
60 games now, to Donnie's point. The Jays 28-32. Not the optimistic season they were hoping for up in the Great White North. But hey, Edmonton's in the Stanley Cup final. More around Major League Baseball coming your way up now. Live right here on this Wednesday on the early line on SportsGrid. He is Donnie RightSide. I am Ben Stevens. And it was another day of celebration in the RightSide household because the Philadelphia Phillies walk it off in game number 2 this week against the Milwaukee Brewers. The Phils keeping pace with the New York Yankees. 43 wins as well, tied for the most in MLB. That 43-19 record, tied for the best in Major League Baseball alongside the Yanks. Alec Boehm tied it up in the 8th at 1 apiece, sending it to extras. And Nick Castellanos, the RBI double to walk it off for Philadelphia. 2-1 victory for the Fightins at home in the bank.
Yeah, Boehm's 50th RBI of the season. Pretty impressive. That coming before the All-Star break. So easily looks like he's on pace for well over 100 RBI. We'll see if he can get there. But also, this is a question where sometimes the Phillies can win with their bats. Sometimes the Phillies can win with their starting pitching. And sometimes their bullpen can be good enough to wiggle out of trouble. All 3 of those things happened last night, which included getting some clutch at-bats by a guy that has really been under the ire of the fan base. That's Nick Castellanos. Certainly not having a great season, but how do you try to break out of some of those slumps? Get big hits at big times here. You had yesterday 1 for 3. Finally got that big base hit in extras to lift his average to only 214. But also, you take a look at that pitching staff, the unheralded guys. We know the upper level parts of these rotation, but then you take a look at it and say, well, how can you be a great baseball team throughout the summer if you have just a good 1-2? You need those 3, 4, and 5s to step up. Taijuan Walker has not been good, but Christopher Sanchez, 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, in ERA for like a 4th or 5th starter is at 2.71. That's really impressive. A couple of the guys coming in from the bullpen, Ruiz, a 2.08 ERA. Kerkering, 1.27. Matt Strom, who's been phenomenal, a 0.72, which includes giving up a couple hits here and wiggling out of that extra inning magic that you thought the Milwaukee Brewers were going to get. And then C. Anthony Dominguez comes in, shuts it down, even though his ERA at 5.14, trying to straighten that out. Good win for the Philadelphia Phillies. And by the way, they have been struggling in some extra inning outings. It's good to see them pick up a W there after struggling for the past couple games with not scoring in the 10th inning.
So the Brew Crew had won 5 straight before this midweek series against Philadelphia. Now they have dropped the first 2. Still 11 games above 500, 36-25. Still the only team in the National League Central that has a winning record. But nobody has a better record in the National League than Philadelphia. Again, 43-19 for the Phillies, tied for the best in baseball alongside the Yankees. Now we go to Boston, where it was a great start to this year for Cutter Crawford as a member of the Red Sox. But since the start, it's been not so great. On the other side, Max Fried, sensational yesterday for Atlanta. 13 strikeouts for the Braves as Atlanta goes on the road as a hefty road favorite in Fenway and wins 8-3 over Boston.
Yeah, we had a little bit leaking oil there now. Take a look at Crawford, 3.51 ERA, getting hit around just a little bit. And also, this is a lineup for the Braves that hasn't shown the propensity to hit too many pitchers around. They played 8 runs yesterday, but the theme on this one was, why would you like the Atlanta Braves? Just take out the, lineups for both sides here. You just looked at Fried on the season. He's having a good run. 7 innings pitched yesterday, 2 earned runs, 13 strikeouts, lowering his ERA now, Ben, to under 3 to 2.93. The Braves, as we said, are a good baseball team. Do I think they can win the pennant? I don't. But they're not going away. They will make the playoffs because that is a sound organization from top to bottom here. Even if those bats aren't swinging, they finally got hot last night. That's another victory and another road victory for the Braves, now 15-12 on the season. We'll see where they go for the rest of the summer, but they are formidable opponents for anybody in the National League, and they showed that once again last night.
Ozzie Albies, Orlando Arcia, both going deep yesterday at Fenway, but still a 7-game distinction. Philly in front, Atlanta in second in the National League East. A minus 300 number yesterday in favor of the Chicago Cubs in the Battle of the Windy City against the White Sox. Inside the friendly confines, Shota Imanaga on the bump. That should be enough against the worst team in baseball, but the Sox entered on an 11-game losing skid. That seemed like it was going to come to a close. They had a 5-0 lead early before the Cubbies rally, and the Cubbies win 7-6. Imanaga, an interesting stat line, did give up 5 runs, or I should say 5 runs were scored while he was on the bump, but only one of those earned early against the White Sox. So the Cubs now this year 10-2 in the starts that Imanaga has made.
Yeah, we saw that number yesterday at over a minus 300 price and said that's ridiculous because Imanaga wasn't actually coming off a great start. He got bombed away. And in this one, runs scored 5. So technically, he got bombed on, didn't get much help from his defense. But that just goes to show you how big the White Sox are. 5-0 lead, no big deal. Yeah, we took the loss. 15-46 on the season. That's embarrassing.
9-2, by the way, for Chicago when Imanaga gets a start. Luis Robert back yesterday for Chicago as well. Homered in his return. And still the White Sox have lost 12 in a row.